started on time, so let's go live. Are we live? Okay, so
We
it
are
is
live.
4 p.m. and I would like to call to order the May 23rd meeting of the Norwalk Traffic Authority. We have a quorum with Commissioner Fran Collier Clemens, Commissioner Tony Lopez, and Mayor Rilling. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 18th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Commissioner Collier Clemens moves. Do we have any corrections, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, I will accept, I'll call it to a vote. All in favor of approving the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, approve the closure of several of these items just for the commissioner's edification. I believe Commissioner Collier Clemens is probably aware of it, but for Commissioner Lopez's edification, items number 2 through 5 are normal requests virtually every year. So we can go through them one by one. So the first item on the agenda is approve the closure of North Main Street, Washington Street, and South Main Street as shown for the Sono Arts Festival to be held on Saturday, August 6th, 2022, and Sunday, August 7th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Moved by Commissioner Collier Clemens. Do we have any questions or comments?
You know, this is essentially what we've always, what they've always submitted. So I have no questions for this.
I have no questions either, Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item, item number 3, approve the closure of Hendricks Avenue for the for the feast, St. Anne's Festival to be held from Thursday, July 21st, 2022 through Sunday, July 24th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez. Any discussion or comments, questions?
I have none.
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 4, approve the exit routing from Bailey Beach for the Rowayton fireworks on Monday, July 4th, 2022. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I move to discuss item 4.
Okay, the item's been moved. Any comments, questions, discussion?
I have none.
Now, this is essentially the same exit routing as they've always had. I
Is that correct?
believe.
That's correct, Mayor.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 5, approve the temporary parking restrictions on Penoyer near Pinckney Park in conjunction with the King John performances to be held on selected evenings weekly between June 15th, July 3rd, 2022. Do I have a motion for discussion?
So
I
moved.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Lopez. Mr. Yosak, is this something a little different or?
This is what they've done last year, Mayor. They put the cones in parking spots so people don't from out of the area don't park there on Penoyer Street. It's been requested by the residents, from my understanding.
Do we have any more information on that, or do we know which nights? Because it said selected evenings.
They operate, well, 1 week they have 6 showings, and I think the other 2 weeks they have 5 showings during the week. I can get you exact dates here in a second.
Do we know how many parking spaces they're talking about? Is it the whole side of Penoyer Street?
Yes, it says no roads will be closed, but they'll use corns to cordon off parking spots as required by Norwalk and the 6th taxing district. A police officer will be present to coordinate pedestrian crossings of the road enforce parking restrictions.
I'm having a difficult time hearing you, Mike.
I'm sorry. So a police officer will be there to help coordinate pedestrian crossings and enforce the parking restrictions. And they'll cordon off parking spots as required by the Norwalk Police and the 6th Taxing District.
Okay, now those parking lots or spaces that they're cordoning off, is that so that residents can park there or just nobody can park there?
My understanding is that it's either for resident parking or that nobody else can park there.
Oh, Mike, who's putting out these cones? The organization or police officers or who?
The cones will be provided by Public Works, but I think the organization will put out the cones.
And is this something different? Because it seems different from previous years.
I know they did it last time they had it, but I don't believe they had it last year. But the last time they had the event, they did this.
Okay.
So basically, this is Shakespeare on the Sound.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
I have no more
Go ahead.
questions.
Police Department, any comments? TMP? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item 6, approve the installation of 27 marked parking spaces on Union Park Place, Union Park South, and Byington Place, as shown on the map. Mr. Travers, I believe this is your item. Would you please update the commission on the idea behind this?
So yes, Mayor. So thank you. I think if the commissioners need me to put it up, let me know. Otherwise, I believe you have a copy. So
Excuse me, could you put it up on the screen, please? 'Cause I'm
sure.
on my-
Give me one
Very small.
second. Let me just.
Thank you.
All right. There was an issue that with the parking authority put temporary measures into place to provide some additional overflow parking to the mosque, and we offered, or the parking authority offered, non-reduction or non-enforcement of MOT for their service on Fridays. Unfortunately, what we really saw from that is a disproportionate amount of people took up the available parking spaces on Mott Street. And then we heard from the additional people on Mott that there was no available parking and no enforcement. So what we're trying to do is return metered parking, fully to Mott Street, and we're able to satisfy, we believe, all parties. Byington Place to the north of what's on the map has on-street parking today, and it's regulated parking, so it's 2-hour time restricted parking, no pay, just 2-hour max, right? So what we're proposing is introducing additional parking spaces down here. So we'll have 7 additional parking spaces north of Mott. We're able to get in 3 additional parking spaces on Union Park Place and still maintain travel. And then we would move for Union Park South, we would move the center line slightly so that we can get in parking spaces that would go up and then bring it back to return no parking after the Route 7 connector up there. But we're moving it on this side because there maintains a sidewalk along this side. But also we felt that the addition of time restricted parking would benefit the park in total here, and then be consistent with the parking regulations that happen that occur on Byington Place today, right? So this would create 27 new parking spaces, and then we would have a conversation with the mosque that they would be able to use these parking spaces, which falls into their time of worship, And then we would return the metered parking fully to Mott Avenue. Happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
And that's going to be 2-hour parking there?
So we would, for all of the new parking spaces, yes, it would be 2-hour parking. So we would prohibit long-term parking, right? But it would 2-hour parking. I don't see it having a tremendous amount of use outside of this. So again, maybe if there's something that happens, maybe we can find better activation of the park, Union Park, with providing some additional parking there, and then satisfy some of the other entities that occur around the area.
Okay, so Jim, right now, there is no parking in these 20 spots on Union Park South and Union Park Place.
And right. And then the Byington, there is additional parking, but it happens to be on north. So we have the new ones that were, so all of the ones that you see outlined in the white spaces here today would be all proposed new parking spaces.
Okay, and right now on Mott Avenue, there are no parking meters there.
No, on Mott Avenue, there are parking meters. So it is metered paid parking, right? And to accommodate a need from the mosque, the parking authority agreed not to have enforcement on Fridays between their hours of worship. But unfortunately, we had a residual problem happen where their Mott Avenue filled with parking, and there wasn't available parking for the other entities that are on Mott Avenue, and we didn't have enforcement. So we heard from a number of the folks on Mott Avenue looking for enforcement, which caused us to go back to the drawing board to find ways that we could satisfy all parties, and we thought this was the best option.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Commissioner
Now, in
Lopez?
the past, have similar approaches been initiated or not?
In the past, in where? So we have not had an opportunity to do this in the past. No.
Okay.
I have one question on the 3 spots on Union Park Place.
Yep.
You generally see cars parked in that area from, I think, the residential unit there, or from the building that's, right at Byington and Union Park Place. Is that going to cause an inconvenience to the people there?
So it was signed for no parking today, Mayor. I hadn't seen people parked out there when we went out. But I think this does bring into play of what we what we need to look at is some residential parking program, and how we can provide some time restricted parking that isn't associated with it's not enforced for those that live there. But I could double check on today, and if it is, we can always minus those 3 out of the equation. But today it was actually signed for no parking.
So when you say that it's not enforced for those who live there, only for those residentials, is that the implication or the thought behind trying to accommodate their needs too? Is that it?
Yeah, so in the area, so what we're looking at now, for when I talk about a residential parking program, in places like, that have, a major traffic generator, either local businesses, a major employer, or like our parks, our beaches, right? Where we want to prohibit, visitors, long-term visitors from there, but we want to make sure that the neighbors aren't inconvenienced. We are looking at how we could institute a residential parking zone that would require the turnover of spaces for visitors, but the long-term parkers, as long as they're a resident of that street, they would be exempt from those regulations.
Are the issuance of passes that could be displayed, could that possibly be an answer?
So we're trying to do away from actual passes and use your license plate number instead, right? So if you're registered to that particular street, that way when we go through it, the license plate reader, we could easily identify it, and nobody has to then come into City Hall to get a hang tag or anything.
That works.
Yep.
One other question I have, and again, Union Park Place.
Yes, sir.
So a car going down Union Park Place, it might cause a lot of people to have to turn around in the driveway of that one residential unit that's there in order to park appropriately. Have we thought about that, or is there enough room or whatever? Because that's what a lot of people are probably going to be doing, and it might not be too pleasing to the residents.
Right, so that's why we didn't put parking all the way down to the end. So we left what's commonly referred to as a hammerhead down the end, so that they could, if you came in, you actually could come this way, do a 3-point turn and exit out, and still make the turnout without going to the driveway. So we wouldn't be, if somebody does it, I can't necessarily do anything, but like we are trying to come up with an alternative measure that allows people that exit without using private property.
Yeah, looking at it, I would think it would be more than likely they would try to turn around in the driveway, but I mean, let's see what happens, and if maybe we can periodically contact the residents there and see if there are any issues, or let them contact us to talk about that as well.
Certainly will. We'll stop in over there.
I got a question on lot number, is that 16 or is that 10? 10 that has some, yeah, right there. Is that a residence or is that part of the parking lot for the mosque?
I believe that's additional parking lot for the mosque.
I
Okay,
believe it's a local nonprofit
Is it?
that uses it, but I think the mosque can park there if there's nothing going on. I'm trying to think of which one it is. It's in that building here. Below it.
I think, Mayor, it might be family and children.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I
think
recall.
so. Yeah, I think so.
Now, the initiative with the parking that's being considered or implemented, the days would be what? Again, can you, I heard you mention Friday, but I don't know where does that go? What's the allocated period?
Friday was the day that the mosque has service, right? So that's the day that was being talked about. But this would just be 2 hours time restricted parking Monday through Saturday, which is our typical restrictions citywide.
Any other questions or comments?
I have none.
I have none.
Police Department or TMP, any other comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And I believe that unless I'm missing a page, I believe that brings us to the end of our agenda. Is that correct? Mr. Yosak?
Mike, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was on mute. Yes, that's the end of the agendas.
Okay. Normally, there's a thing down at the bottom that tells us when the next meeting is.
I apologize for that, Mayor. I forgot to include it on this one.
That's all right. That's why I wondered if there was another page. So no further items to come before the Traffic Authority. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move for adjournment.
Commissioner Collier Clemens moves for adjournment at 4:19 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are adjourned at 4:19. Now we will get on the Police Commission.